Good evening. I am Selwyn Collins, your host of CWS Conversations with Selwyn. Thank you for joining us. Our guest for the evening is Mr. Nigel Hughes, who is coming in from Guyana. Nigel, I asked you this question on Friday, but I'm going to ask it to you again. What are five principles you would like to see Guyana adopt to position it to meet the demands of today's ever-changing competitive global economy?
Ah, one answer to all five, really, but I'll give you the five individual ones. The one answer is education,
Education.
re-education. I mean, we have to, in terms of our schools, we have to teach our children to think critically and not just regurgitate masses of information. Because what happens is that we are producing kids that are doing phenomenally well. They're getting they're getting 19 subjects and 18 subjects. But a lot of that is based on the regurgitation of information rather than the ability to think critically. Now, if we don't start training our young people to think critically, the future of this society is not particularly not going to be good, because we don't want people who can regurgitate a whole set of information, or they can identify a whole set of data without possessing the ability to think critically. So that's one of the things. The other thing is, I think by now we should be a bilingual community. We should absolutely be ensuring that all of the kids that come out of secondary school are bilingual. We should be starting in primary school to be bilingual, because a lot of this is tied up with our economic development. We can't be sitting down where we are and not be an instrumental economic cog in the wheel for the development of northern Brazil. Brazil has a huge population sitting down there. Northern Brazil, the Amazonia state and the Roraima state, have a major problem in the length of time it takes to get their goods to the major markets of the world, whether it's the US or Latin America. It takes 5 days for a vessel to come down the Amazon River from Manaus, which is probably the largest concentration, at least in northern Brazil for the time being. So the development of northern Brazil is looking for a quicker, more accessible route to the market. Now, Guyana, perfectly positioned, but of course our neighbors in Suriname are beginning to put down that infrastructure, which we should have done a long time ago. And if we are going to catch up and go past them, we got to at least be bilingual. We got to be able to, a significant part of the population speak Portuguese if we want to take advantage of that. Another one of the five is, I certainly think, in terms of us being ahead of, or being able to catch up with the world, we have to start training our children to write apps. It's got to have big, heavy technological component in the new education. This is not one laptop per family. We need to have one laptop per student in a school. We need to be teaching. We need to be teaching the ability to write applications, so that, and we have to have short, medium, and long-term educational development plans to deal with what sort of Guyana we want to see in another 15 years. Because I think it's really silly to talk about what you're going to get in 5 years. The three, certainly we have to change our political architecture and structure. We can't continue with the existing constitutional arrangements. It excludes too many members of society feel that they can't participate and they're not being afforded an opportunity to participate in the decision-making forum of the country. And the fifth one, we have to change our culture in terms of us being a competitive nation. Sorry, we have an approach to productive life. Let me put it that way: economic productive life that is perhaps too casual, and we have been unable to realize the good fortune that we have been given in terms of our natural resources. I don't want to say develop our potential, but in terms of our national resources, and it's not a difficult task. We are not burdened with a huge population. As a matter of fact, if anything, on the UN scale, we are beneath the optimal, which I think at the minimum is 4 million. So we need to be able to spend a lot of our time in high-end development rather than lower-end scale. I mean, that would be roughly 5 areas, but I mean, there's several that I could probably share with you.
And Nigel, time is upon us. I want to read. Let me read some comments in the chat room. Nicholas McDavid, we salute Jamaica, but at the same time,
Is anybody else in the chat room?
well, I don't know. Sometimes people don't make comments. The Guyanese once upon a time were a people of great national pride, one of the greatest missions that successive regimes since Desmond Hoyt. The chat room is a peculiar place, Nigel. Sometimes people are there, and the next day they call you and tell you they enjoy the show. Have failed to realize is that one of the most important things is to rebuild and rebrand national pride. It is really the forced mission of anyone coming in to make a change. And this person really says, one step forward, many steps backward, our dear land. Nicholas, I would like to use this to bring up Miss Guyana World, making it the top 10 in Miss World, the most prestigious of all pageants that promotes beauty with a purpose. It is things like that that we need to use to rebuild national pride and not use it as a propaganda or war games in the political arena. Miss Guyana World made the region's best showing. By the way, let me take this moment to say congratulations to Miss Guyana's World. And Nicholas, again, we need more things like this, more products like this, and to promote it positively. And then really said, when did Guyana start referring to black Guyanese as Africans, Afro-Guyanese, same for Indians, Indo-Guyanese, etc.? Why can't we just be Guyanese? And if we pause to think about the degradation and destruction of national pride, it is a sore that has festered and led to so many other infections from a socio-psychological, cultural standpoint. And Sam said, yes, Nigel, there are other people in the chat room.
But I got a lot of respect. I gotta heal up and respect Nicholas because he's from his questions he clearly has a very incisive grasp of what's going on in Guyana, and he's spot on with all his comments that you've read. So I say respect you.
And really said Guyana should have been a bilingual country years ago. Nicholas said, and to Nigel, your supporters stand ready to mobilize.
That sounds like a wish that you would give to a suicide bomber. Go.
Nigel, I want to beg with all these drop calls. I know you have a heavy schedule and so on. I want to beg your indulgence for another 10 minutes. Is that okay, or would you like to?
No, that's fine. Yeah,
that's fine.
That's fine.